Hey everybody, this is Perch. As we head into 2021, there's been a lot of predictions and a lot of things have come out. And I think when you look at the companies, when you look at Marvel, you look at DC, in 2020, DC got a lot of their reduction in workforce and various cuts and trimming back of the line and all that taken care of. It's unclear, exactly what the cuts were, but it's definitely we know that a lot of editorial was removed. We know that there was definite cuts to titles and to books and to people, and some of it's public, some of it's not public, but definitely there's some people who the company shrunk, and they're putting out a brave face going into 2021, getting March, trying to put a really good foot forward, and everything else going to be much more corporate aligned and all the rest. I don't think we're going to get much more turmoil out of DC. I think some of their titles will work, some of their titles will not work. I think that the world will kind of see them on a bubble for a while because of everything that went down. And I think that every success they have will be kind of seen as accidental, and every failure they have will be proof that it's all going to fall apart any day now. But really, I think the DC story is going to be a much more calm and stable in 2021. When I say stable, I don't mean great, I don't mean terrible, I mean stable. Nothing in the March lineup tells me that you're going to have a massive breakaway hit that's going to completely take over all the charts. They haven't cooked up a Rebirth or a New 52. I do think there's going to be some titles that look exciting. I'm interested to see what they do with Swamp Thing. I'm interested to see what Green Lantern does. Actually, I'm interested to see quite a few of the books. I want to see Philip Kennedy Johnson and what he can do with Superman. How Yara Flor is going to be handled. I mean, there's a lot of questions I have about DC. Some of the stuff will work out, some won't. I think that while 2020, the turmoil belonged to DC, I think that it is as clear can be that 2021 will be Marvel's turmoil. The time is coming. So Disney shed a lot of staff. They shed more staff toward the first part of December, and the rumor, and I think very strong rumor, people I know personally, old friends who work for the Walt Disney Company, and in particular their licensing departments and their like Disney Publishing and other thing, says that everybody believes, and there's lots of signs to say, an axe is coming late January, and it's going to be rough. And it's going to take a lot of staff jobs, and it's going to cut people back. Now, this is Disney. It is very possible that Marvel stays immune from it, but it won't. I think Marvel is headed for a similar turmoil. They're gonna head towards some cut books. They've got, their schedules have been bouncing around. I think some of it, this is like the smoke before the fire, where I think that all this spells some crazy turmoil. I think to put a fine point on it, one thing Disney does, and again, this may not be what they do to Marvel. I'm talking about Disney and what I know of that company, is that when there's financial setbacks, when they've overspent, and there's been numerous times that the parks or the entertainment business has overspent and they've had to retract, where they go is the VP and above level. And the reason why is VPs. If you get to be a Disney VP, you're promised a certain level of stock and a certain guaranteed bonus rate and other kind of financial incentives that can add up to be quite a lot. If you're a director level, you get some benefits, but much less. It's really the VP level where you get the goods. And that is going to be where they're going to target the most. And there's a lot of VPs at the Disney business and all these different arms, because like any giant company, eventually you just promote everybody up as a way to, you just, this person's valuable. We don't want to get rid of them, so let's give them another title. And eventually they promote them up. They get into this incentive program. It's been something a lot of people at Disney have fought and struggled tooth and nail to get. And now they're finally there. And it's going to be where people get cut. Where that pertains to Marvel is there's a number of people who are in the categorically VP level, and that's a lot of their people you don't hear a lot of names of, but definitely people like CB Cebulski technically categorizes in that. Tom Brevoort does not. He's, from what I understand, he's categorized as a director level, but of course he holds a lot of power in the company. So maybe there's some other incentives thrown in there. But definitely people like Sana Amanat and Joe Quesada and David Gabriel and a number of these people. There's quite a few in that zone who I think they're not all going to survive 2021. I don't say this with delight, like, hey guys, guess what? Hey, Marvel people gonna get fired! Yay! I'm not. I still maintain, and I know that people in the comments say this every time I say this. I don't take delight in people getting fired, even if the people did lousy, awful things. I don't think you should just keep people employed who are doing a bad job, but I don't feel good about it. I'm not throwing a party when people are getting the axe. I think it sucks. I've had to let people go. It's a very tough thing. I don't relish it, and I don't have that in my DNA. Now, again, none of what I said is I've had employees, I've had people who work for me who have done a bad job. They're not performing. They're dragging the business down, either the comic shop or other places I've worked, and I've let them go. And I'm pretty quick about it too. I try and do it very quickly. I try and do it humanely. I don't drag it out because that tends to just bring more emotion into it. So I don't pause, but I don't get giddy about it. And that's the one thing I can't sign up for a lot of people who are very critical of Marvel is there's a horny excitement for people losing their jobs, and I can't sign on to that. But I do believe that we're going to see some of those big names disappear. Now, if you're a betting man, I think Joe Quesada is probably. I mean, he's been at that company a long time. He's had a very long tenure. I can't imagine he stays there much longer. I don't see it. He's been a decent ambassador, but all the same, I think Disney's had a lot more success and a lot. They like the PR and some of the opportunities to get off of other people more. I think Disney and Sana Amanat seem to have a very, symbiotic relationship. I know that, or at least I've heard, she has a lot of ambitions to continue to grow within Disney and move up the chain. CB Cebulski, I mean, I think his role, much like Axel Alonso's, is going to be very, very linked to the performance of the book. Not any one title's performance, but just performance as a whole. So if they continue to kind of just hang in there, he probably does too. But it is. I think that we're going to see a 2021 that's very tumultuous for Marvel. I think there are going to be cuts. I think there's going to be a retraction of the line. I think that you're going to see a lot of very odd kind of moments. Again, the hints are here in the sense that we saw the solicitations for March, and you've got a bunch of books that, in theory, are bigger books than them. You have Wolverine, you have Marauders, you have other books. They're not on the solicitations for March. Where are they? I don't know. I guess they haven't taken a break. They're taking a month off, I guess. It's that kind of stuff that is troubling. It's Children of the Atom going on its, I think, third or fourth solicitation now. It's nonstop Spider-Man that just can't seem to get out the gate. Those are indications that things are not well at the House of Ideas from just an overall kind of management perspective. And I think that we're going to kind of get some of the background, the reasons for that as we get into 2021. I think the business does streamline its line. I think that Kevin Feige was all set to kind of reimagine bits of Marvel publishing in 2020, and I think this shutdown and the way it hammered the entertainment industry and having to shift things to Disney Plus and kind of all the rest, I think, and from what I understand, he's been spending a decent amount of time talking and advising, or at least suggesting things in the Star Wars line, and because you do see Star Wars taking what looks like a much more Marvel in terms of cinematic universe approach, and that's an interesting thing as well. I mean, again, if you're a Disney executive and things are bad and you're having to fire people and you're making cuts and everything else, while I'm sure it was never spoken out loud, I am also 100% sure that at some point, Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy kind of look across the table at each other and think, If this gets much worse, only one of us is going to be here. Like they're going to pick one of us. They're not going to have both. And I think, Feige has to at least go, yeah, it's going to be me. I think I mean, those games are being played at the executive level of Disney right now. Even after this pandemic is over, they get the California park open again. But I mean, let's face it, that California park is I mean, best case scenario, we're talking April, May before that thing's opening. Best case. California's a mess right now, all over the place, and it's not opening up anytime soon. And Florida is still running at a lessened capacity. There's a lot going on, and I think that as Disney, when you're one of these big companies, your revenue gets hammered like this. You tend to first kind of cut what's easily cut, and there you go for the mass. You go for kind of big strips of business units that you can afford to cut, put on hiatus, furlough, whatever it happens to be. And then you retrench your business. You look around your executive team. You figure out who's eating up the big packages, who's close to retirement. Maybe you give them a little bit of money, and just have them walk out the door. And that's what's going on right now. We've seen some high level executives at Disney leave, some by choice, some not. And that is the next step is the VP layer. So that's what's coming next. And we know that ABC and ESPN and Marvel are not going to be immune from this. We know it's coming. And as a result of it coming, I think put it this way, if DC has any success at all, and I don't mean taking the number one spot, I mean just from a corporate perspective, from an analysis of what they're doing with getting their line more aligned with their movie business, then you can count on Marvel looking at it and going, or Disney rather, looking at it and going, yeah, they're doing what we want to do. And a Kevin Feige going, yeah, they're aligning it. I can do it better. We have better characters, better talent, better everything else. I can do that better. We're going to do that too, but better. That is Marvel's MO always. And I think that's what we have to look forward to. So anyway, I think 2021 is the year of the roller coaster for Marvel. I fully believe it. I think all the signs are there, and that's my theory. So what do you think? Do you agree? You disagree? That's my case. I laid it out for you. Now you tell me if I've got it off base or not, and what you would hope to see. Let me know in the comments below. Hey, subscribe. Thank you for all the engagement you've given. Follow me on social media and all that kind of stuff. You want to see, more jokes and rambling. I tend to just kind of say nonsense over there, but most importantly, thanks for listening.